YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Koozie, and welcome to the channel. As you know, a brand new Warzone season just recently dropped, and so what I got for you today is the best settings for Warzone. Maybe this is your first season dropping into Verdansk, and in my opinion, you can't enjoy the game to the fullest without your game being set up properly. So we're not going to get into sensitivity and all that stuff just yet. That's going to be for a later video, which, speaking of which, if you do like the video today, make sure to drop a like, and if you want to come back for more content, make sure to hit that subscribe button with the bell on. Also, I gotta know in the comments, bro, let me know your highest kill game. I know a lot of you guys are cracked, okay? So I better be seeing a lot of, 20 to 40 bombs, okay? Let me know down below, all right? So yeah, like I said, sensitivity is not going to be in this video. We're going to be talking about a lot of the audio and visual aspects that you can have set up to make your game more enjoyable, and also kind of give you a little bit of a competitive edge, okay? But yeah, enough pitter patter chitter chatter. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so I purposefully hid my face cam just so you guys could see the entire screen, because there are some aspects of settings that, my face cam will be in the way. So let's go to options, okay? Let's start in the general tab. Now, console players, this is going to look a little bit different for you, as PC players have the option to change their field of view, or FOV. As you can see this is why when you're watching all the big streamers on Twitch and you're wondering why it seems like they're moving faster than you, it's because their FOV is cranked up. They don't have special streamer powers. It's literally just the optical illusion. And what FOV does is it basically makes everything seem zoomed out, so you can see more of what's around you, if that makes sense. Now, PC players, let me holler at you for a quick tip. If you want to look like you're hacking or have less recoil, switch your ADS field of view to affected, okay? And what this does is it's set on independent by default, and whenever it's set on independent, it means that the field of view of when you're aiming down sights is independent from your macro field of view. So basically, when you ADS, you're going to be ADSing at a default 80 FOV, which is just the default field of view across the board for console and PC. But if you have it on affected, it is linked with your master FOV. What this does is this creates an optical illusion to make your gun look like it's got less recoil. So for me, I personally love having this, because even though it took a little bit to get used to, once I finally got used to it, man, I started hitting more shots. It's just I don't know, it's just all in all better. Okay, brightness, back to PC and console. Let me talk to you real quick, okay? Do not have your brightness higher than 60, okay? For the love of God, dude, I have seen streams where the streamer has their game brightness up to like 75 and 80, and it is disgusting. The game looks whitewashed. I get that it's a dark game. It's hard to see, and thankfully with this season, season 4, they recently actually nerfed the rose skin, so you can actually see it a little bit better. But dude, just keep it on 55 in game. Now, if you're hell-bent on getting your like brightness up, just turn your brightness up on your TV or on your monitor if it's that big of a deal. Okay, HUD bounds are basically just controlling the outer things and how far or how close they are to the center of the screen, if that makes sense. So it would be like your ammo count, the mini map, the player and kill count up here. Some people like to cut this down to 50 because they believe that they don't have to move their eyes as much. For me, I just keep it at 100. But skip introduction movie basically allows you to boot up your game a little bit faster. Tooltips, I don't know what that is, so we're leaving that enabled because it's enabled by default. Subtitles, I leave those disabled. Some people have them up. Colorblind type, I personally am not colorblind, but as you guys know, this game is very, very, very bland. Okay, it looks like throw up, deadass. So what I've done to kind of make it a little bit more vibrant is I've turned on the colorblind type to Deuteranopia, and I've set my colorblind target to both. This just kind of makes it a little bit more vibrant. It doesn't do much, but it definitely makes a difference from Deuteranopia to off. Okay, on-demand texture streaming, I'm not sure if console has this, but I leave this disabled for performance purposes. Minimap shape. hear me when I say this, okay? Why do you have it on circle? I know it's by default, but why do you have it on circle? Okay, you need it on square, especially if you're playing Warzone predominantly, because look over here. This is the default versus how much more you see with your minimap on square. Yes, it takes up more room on your screen. Yeah, okay, but that's a fair trade-off considering look at how much more you get. Minimap rotation is set to enabled by default. I would just leave it on. Compass cardinal direction text is literally just if you have it set on letters, whenever you reach true north, south, east, and west, it's gonna show up as a letter rather than the actual number. Text chat, you can leave that on. Profanity filter, you can leave it enabled if it triggers you that much, or you can, cut it off. Dismemberment and gore effects are enabled for me, just because, I mean, who doesn't like to see limbs flying in the air? Okay, now this is all for PC players, okay? Your FPS counter, I have mine enabled. All of this is disabled by default, but if you want to see how many frames you're getting, make sure to have this enabled. Server latency, that's your ping. I have that enabled, but everything else I've got disabled. And then this is just visual stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. The show mute sound widget and show mute voice chat widget, you can have that enabled. I think it's enabled by default, honestly. Okay, before we go to graphics, we're gonna skip that and go to audio because graphics are more geared towards PC, and I don't want to keep you controller guys or console players waiting too long. Okay, so audio. If you want to hear more footsteps, okay, first of all, I would recommend getting a headset. Okay, you can get a cheap headset that's really good, and I'm not talking about going on Amazon and getting one of those like Red Dragon $15 headsets. I'm talking like my first ever headset was a set of Corsair HS50s. I bought those 3 years ago, used them religiously for 12 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week, and I have not had an issue. I am wearing an Audio-Technica headset right now that I received as a gift for Christmas, and the only reason I'm using those is because they're a lot more expensive than my Corsair HS50s. But the Corsair HS50s are $50 over on Amazon. You should go pick them up. You will not regret it, okay? So that's the first step, bro. You gotta have a decent headset to be able to hear well. And granted, the audio in this game isn't the best because if somebody's behind you, you can't really tell. But then they have all these presets that kind of modify the sound to hopefully benefit you. Boost low is good. You can hear footsteps pretty well, but it's very boomy, and if you're a streamer, it sounds horrible if you're streaming with it on. So if you go with boost high, that's going to be probably your best bet. I did hear that dynamic home theater, which is one of the newer presets, it's good, but I haven't used it, so I can't give an opinion on that. Now master volume, again, this is preference, and for me, I run dual PC, so the way I have my audio set up, I have to keep it like this, otherwise my eardrums are going to bleed. I've got music volume all the way at 0, and here's why, okay? Not that the music is god-awful, but if you have your music up, yeah, you've got lobby music, but whenever you drop into a game, there's like ambient and suspenseful music that plays for what seems like until the first zone closes. And dude, if you want to hear more footsteps, you got to cut this off. It's going to take a little bit, and honestly, if it's that big of a deal, then just like turn it on while you're in the lobby and turn it off while you're in game. But I'm telling you, man, that music is so annoying whenever it comes to like trying to hear footsteps, and you can't because they're yeah. So anyways, dialogue volume. That's just basically the announcer guy. You can have it set to however loud or what you want, but I have my effects volume, which is literally everything from footsteps to gunshots to this, that, and the third. I've got that cranked up to 100. Juggernaut music, you can personal preference. I mean, the Juggernaut isn't in the game at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, so I just have it enabled by default. Hit marker sound effects. What does this do? Oh wait, you can audio test it. So you hear the difference, and whenever you hit somebody for armor, it sounds different too. Mono audio, you don't I mean, if you're one of those people that have to play with like one earphone off because you got kids and you know you're having to watch them and stuff like that, you know, maybe put this on. But to get the best immersive experience and to be able to tell which side, you know, the enemy is on, you want to go with having this off. Voice chat, again, all preference, and this is all contingent upon your audio setup. And then War Tracks as a passenger, I have disabled, and I've got War Tracks volume all the way down just because I stream over on twitch.tv/itskoozie Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Hashtag selfless plug. But I don't want to deal with DMCA. Okay. So like I said, we're not getting into any of the sensitivity stuff. I'll do that in a later video. But I will kind of go through this and then we'll get into graphics. Okay. And there's a couple things in the graphics tab that console players can benefit from, but this is mainly going to be geared towards PC players. And so I just want to respect console players' time. Yeah, we're going to hit this and then I'll hit the graphics tab. Crossplay is enabled. You want to have that on so you can face both PC and console players. I have friend requests and party invite notifications off because there's nothing more annoying than when I'm mid-game and I see a big-ass banner come across my screen saying, so-and-so has invited you to a game. So disable that. And for the protection of myself and the people I'm playing with, I've got unique ID and friend real names disabled, as well as my geographical, external, and internal IP address hidden. So there's that tab. Okay, so now we're gonna hit the graphics tab. Now there, like I said, this is mainly gonna be geared towards PC players. However, there might be a couple things that console players can benefit from this. So if you're a console player, stick around, check it out, and if you know you don't take away anything beneficial from this, I'm sorry, but maybe this will help. Okay, so let's talk about display mode. All right, I typically play with full screen rather than full screen borderless, but there has been this bug this season where if I'm in the pregame lobby, like, you know, you're not in the lobby, but like you're loaded into a game and the countdown is going and you're actually in the game and you're doing like quote unquote practice or whatever before you drop in. There's this bug right now where I normally get, you know, 120 frames or whatever on average, but when I'm in game, it drops down to like 45. Okay, so I've had to go back and switch it from full screen borderless to full screen and back and forth to get it to fix itself. So I typically play on full screen. Okay, to me, I feel like the game performs better whenever it's locked at full screen. Okay, display monitor, I think you only have one choice unless you run like multiple monitors or whatever. Display adapter should be your graphics card. Screen refresh rate is your screen's refresh rate. Render resolution, you want to keep this at 100 just because, I mean, look at this. If we bump this down to 66, yeah, you get a hell of a lot more like performance from your graphics card, but the game looks like dog doo-doo. Okay, so you want to at least have this set to 100, which is your native resolution of your monitor. And again, that's what this advanced section is for. Aspect ratio, keep it at automatic. Sync every frame or VSync. You want to have that disabled, bro. That is a performance eater. Okay. Custom frame rate limit. Please, 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 please. I don't care if you have what I was rocking a long time ago, the 1060 3 gigabyte, or if you've got a 2080 Super, or if you're blessed enough to have a 3090. Please, for the love of God, keep this on unlimited because this will give you more frames. I know it looks annoying to have your frame counter going all over the place all the time, but please, it's been proven through various benchmark tests that this will give you more frames. Okay. NVIDIA highlights are your preference. They don't really hit performance or anything like that, so you want to have that either enabled or disabled, whatever you prefer. NVIDIA Reflex low latency. I recently had to reinstall my game, so this kind of reset, but I normally have mine on enabled plus boost. What this does is this basically, this doesn't help with like frames, so to speak, but it helps with the overall performance of your graphics card and all that stuff. Now, display gamma, if you are on a monitor, you can leave this at 2.2. If you're playing on a TV, you want to bump that up to 2.4. Okay. Now streaming quality. Now all of these settings that I'm about to go through are geared more for performance, so I can get the most frames out of my games. Okay. So if you want better looking, quality settings, just kind of take what you see here and bump it up maybe 2 notches or so. But streaming quality, I would have this set to low, just because, as you see, it favors texture performance over quality. The value is recommended if you have less than 4 gigs of video memory, whereas the normal setting favors texture quality over performance. So this basically just like streams textures dynamically depending on the distance to you. Okay. I guess this was Activision's way of trying to boost performance for lower end PCs or something. I don't know. Anyways, texture resolution. There is no frame difference between low and normal. I know there's a little bit of a VRAM usage change right there, but trust me, you want to have this on normal. You can have it on low if you want. It doesn't look horrible, but for the love of God, don't have it on very low. You're going to be so confused by the pixelated things. You're going to be asking, am I playing on PC or Nintendo 64? Texture filter anisotropic. You want to have that set to normal. Particle quality, we're going to have set to high. Again, this doesn't affect your frames, so you can have that set to high. Same with bullet, impacts, and sprays. Tessellation I have disabled. On-demand texture streaming I have disabled. Shadow, okay, all of these, bro, turn them down or off, because watch, if I take the shadow map resolution and I bump it to low to like the next setting, excuse me, well, this is awkward. If I go up to high and then extra, if you add these other factors in, it eats away at your performance. And plus, shadows are just weird in this game. One thing I will say is that Warzone is weird, man. The higher your settings are, the worse the game looks for some reason. Cache spots shadows and cache sun shadows are both disabled. Particle lighting is set to low. This is another one that doesn't look like it affects your GPU, but through various benchmark tests that have been done, it does in fact affect your FPS. So make sure to keep this on low. And plus, if you look at the diagram, there's not much difference, to be honest with you. Ray tracing, you can have that on if you want, but you're going to be hard locked at 60 FPS. Deadass. Okay, ambient occlusion, set that to disabled. SSR, set that to disabled. Filmic strength, you want to have that set to 0 or 1. I think that is the default value. DLSS, okay. This is a recent feature that NVIDIA has added, and it's supposed to help with getting more frames. I haven't noticed a difference, bro. I've tried literally all of these settings except for the ultra performance because I don't have an 8K monitor. So I've just left this off, but it's whatever your preference. Just try it, see if it benefits you. If it doesn't, then just have it off. Anti-aliasing I have off because it's really not that big of a deal for me. Depth of field. Okay, console players, listen up if you're still here. Okay, these four, I'm good at math, or apply to you. I remember this. Okay, depth of field you want to have disabled, because what this does is with it disabled, everything's clear when you're ADSing. If you have it enabled, it makes everything outside of where you're looking blurry. Okay, and we want to be able to see everybody, so leave that disabled. World motion blur and weapon motion blur, bro, it's just a generic roll across the board. Turn this off. For the love of God, dude. I get that the game devs are like putting this in the game to make it seem more realistic, but we're not going for realistic. We're going for dubs here, okay? All right, so leave that disabled. Film grain, have that off, seriously. And lastly, dynamic resolution, set that to disabled, and you don't have to mess with that since this is disabled. Now, so we've got the basic settings. Now, PC players, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, what you want to do is in the lobby, go to your keyboard and press Alt and Z. Okay, this will bring up the NVIDIA overlay. You want to go to game filter. This is going to take your game from looking like this, all yellow and depressing, to this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly go through these 3 filters. Now, I got these from Iceman Isaac, and since the integration with Cold War, they've changed some graphic stuff up, and there's like new NVIDIA filters that you can use, but I really don't like them, man. I like the more bluish hue that you get from this set of filters. If you want more in depth, you can go check out his videos on the filters, but this is what I run, okay? And again, this is one of those things where you get it set and you can adjust it to what you like. I think I've slightly adjusted mine to better fit my preference, but all right. So what we're gonna do is we go to add a filter, and you're gonna find brightness and contrast. So you click that, and this is what you're gonna set it to. Exposure is gonna be set to 0. I think it's by default. Contrast, make sure that's at 30. Highlights are gonna be dropped down to -60 or 62. And shadows, you want to have that set to -46, because what this does is it makes the shadows less visible. So when you're in Superstore or whatever, like anybody goes Superstore still, it allows you to see into the darker areas a little bit better. Gamma set to 0, because gamma literally is just like a backlight and it looks disgusting. Color is the next one. So add filter, find color, select it, and you want to make sure tint color is at 14%. Tint intensity is set to 21%. Temperature, Iceman has it set to 0 by default, but again, I like kind of more of a bluish hue, so I have it set to -11.6. And vibrance, I have mine cranked all the way up to 80.9. Okay, and the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add one more filter, and we're gonna look for sharpen. Okay. So you add that, you want to crank ignore film grain all the way up to 100. Now sharpen, I have mine set to 74, but that is all personal preference. You can have it all the way up to 100, but I keep mine 74, 75. Okay, you do this, man, it's a game changer. The only complaint I have is that if you are in a building and you are looking out towards the sun, like the sun is already literally just blinding as is. But this kind of makes the sun a little bit brighter, so it's a little bit harder to see. But for me, I'm not a campy player, so I'm not in buildings like a lot. So it's kind of like the good outweighs the bad kind of thing for me. So I mean, if that's not your play style, if you're a camping Charlie, then that's how you play. But if you do decide to use this, know that's what's going to come with it. But it's not horrible, okay? And you can get used to it. But anyways, so there's that. And so once you're done with that, just hit X and then press Alt Z again, and you'll hear a nice little chord. And here we are. So yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Alrighty, guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was a little lengthy, but I tried to go as in-depth and be as thorough as possible, just to make sure that you guys get all of the information that I know to hopefully glean from. But nonetheless, I will see you guys next time. And again, if you want to come check me out live, I'm streaming over on twitch.tv/itskoozie Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Monday through Thursday, I'm 100% playing Warzone. Fridays are hit or miss. Okay, come check me out, and make sure if you do like the content, drop a like. Let me know your highest kill game down below. And also, if you want to find your way back, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.